Hello crafty cuties and welcome back to another video. Today I am really excited to show you how I get my wax dipped photos. Another term for this is encaustic art or encaustic painting, and I have been doing quite a bit of research on the encaustic art, and I just want you to know I'm not a professional. I am far from that, and I really honestly don't even really follow the rules of true encaustic art. But I have been really intrigued, and I just want to show you how I get the look that I've been doing when I do the wax dipped photos. Please be careful and do your own research. You have to be extremely careful when you are melting these items. And so what you're going to need is some beeswax. This is not what people typically use for encaustic art, okay guys? This is just what I've been using and what works for me. It's said to, I guess, not really hold up over years and years, but I've had no issues, and I'm honestly fine with the look of things kind of, I guess, you know, breaking down. I don't know, I don't mind it. And then you can use Damar resin crystals. I'm not going to use that in today's tutorial because, again, you have to be so careful when you are adding this. You have to get things to be an exact temperature. However, I want to mention it because this is basically a hardening agent. It's going to harden your wax when it's done, and so I think it would be a good idea to look into if this is something that you are going to, you know, be putting up on your wall, like if you're making an encaustic photo or something like that. But again, just going to use this today, so please just keep in mind, I realize this is not how you really do encaustic art. This is just, I've really enjoyed this and it works for me. Okay, so I'm going to be doing basically a double boiling situation here. Okay, I'm gonna have to use my back burner, but I have this about a quarter of a way filled up. I'm going to use a mason jar, and this is going to be a jar that I always use for my wax. So use something that doesn't need to be reused. And I am basically going to pour in my beeswax. These are beeswax, like little pebbles. I got this from Michael's. And I'm going to pour some in here. And then we're going to basically melt this down, and I'll show you how I put this over my photo. Okay, so I'm just gonna use about that much. And I'm gonna wait for this to slightly boil, and then we will put this in the water. So I have a variety of pieces here that I am going to wax, and I have used out printed things and never had an issue with it. And I've used just pieces of ephemera that I've gotten from different packages, you know, from the store. And so I have these because I like to do, you know, a few at a time, since then I just have all my supplies out at once. So I have a rolling boil happening here. So now I am going to stick my wax in here. Please just keep in mind, guys, this is just how I do it. Encaustic art is something that is just so awesome, and I don't want to make it look like I'm trying to act like I know what I'm doing here. But I've had some of you ask before how I do this. So I'm just watching this closely, and I'm actually going to use the end of my stick here to mix the wax around. And also, you need to use a natural haired bristle brush for this. Do not use a synthetic brush, it will melt. So I've turned my heat down quite low. You do want to make sure that there is never any smoking coming from your wax. That could be really dangerous. And so keeping it at the lowest temperature possible for melting is very important. I believe it said not to go over like 200 degrees, so it's probably a good idea to check that with a thermometer. I'm just watching mine very close, and I turned it down to low now. And if you decide to look into and use the Damar crystals, I've used these once now, and I did really enjoy. I thought that it made quite a difference in the way that it looked at the end, but be sure you need to wear like a mask. It's serious, guys. So my wax is starting to melt, and so I'm just gonna wait till it's all completely melted. So the wax is all melted. I wanted to also mention that Some people just take the little pellets and put them on the photo and then use a heat gun to melt it straight on. I don't feel like I have as much control, so that's why I like to do it this way. But keep in mind there are lots of ways. So now I'm just dipping my brush into the wax and I'm just gonna go to town. I did ink up the edges, as you can see on this photo, and I like doing that, and sometimes the color moves around, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with however it turns out, basically. So I'm just gonna start out by basically painting over a pretty thin layer, and you're going to notice that it is going to it's going to kind of harden as soon as you put it on your page. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about it being uneven. I am going to use my heat gun to even that out when I'm all done, but I just want to start out by doing a single layer and then we can smooth it out with the heat gun. So I guess maybe it's kind of the same as if I were to just put a few pellets on here and then use my heat gun, but I don't know, something about this, I like doing it this way. So you can kind of see what works for you. So I'm just adding it in a few places here. I just really like the look of this a lot. I think it's fun. Okay, so I don't want to add too much, but I do like to add extra around the edges. I'll do that after I use the heat gun to smooth everything out. Just adding a little bit extra here. So you're gonna see it's not super smooth right now, and it has kind of a yellow tint. I think that's why some people probably don't use it, and it's gonna be really hard to see on camera, but I'm gonna use my heat gun now to smooth this out. Okay, so I have my heat gun here, and I'm gonna turn it on and just kind of go over the area. And then you can add more wax where you think that it needs it and just kind of play around with it until you're happy. Now you do need to work pretty quick, obviously, since we are working with something that hardens up. Since I'm filming, this is definitely taking me a little bit longer, but I'm just gonna go back through now and just add a little bit extra on the edges. And then again, I'll probably smooth it out quite a bit. Mine is definitely hardening up a little faster than normal since, again, I'm filming and this is taking me a little bit longer. And I'm going to basically continue this on with the other pieces that I wanted to wax today. I'm just gonna do a few more here. And, you know, a lot of people actually add like paints or different colored waxes. And there I have just seen some amazing pieces with encaustic art. Yeah, you guys gotta search it out on YouTube. There is seriously so many awesome things that you can do with this art, not just covering photos like this, but you can do, you can add like different pieces in and fuse different, like, I don't know, embellishments and metal pieces and wood pieces, just all kinds of pieces into the waxes. You can use paint. I'm really like, I would love to learn more about actually doing encaustic art like correctly and trying out different mediums that way. I think it would be so much fun, and I've been like so addicted to watching encaustic art videos. So this is just what I learned. Yeah. Okay, this one looks awesome, and you just really can't see on camera how cool these pieces look. Obviously, the more layers of wax that you put on, the more muted your end result's going to be. So like for this one, I'm doing brush strokes one way, and then I'm doing on the net the opposite way over, and I kind of like the look. But again, if you don't like the look of the brush strokes, that's when you can bring your heat gun in and smooth everything out. So I'm thinking that we will go ahead and just try the other method where we put the beeswax down on the photo and then heat it. Let's just try that since we're here and we can see what the difference is. So I'm gonna add some brown ink around this one because I'm really liking how vintage it's looking. I just want to add to that. I'm okay with some wax getting on my ink pad here. and then we will try the next method of just putting the beeswax straight onto the photo and melting it with the heat gun. Okay, so I have two pieces here. I'm just gonna add a few of the beeswax pebbles. And guys, this turned out awful. I did not like this technique at all. So I'm actually just gonna skip over most of this and just know it did not work for me, but I don't want to waste your time. No, definitely don't like this way of doing it. The pebbles flew everywhere. All right, guys. Here are a few of the final ones, and I wish you could see it better on camera, but that's how it goes. This one's probably my favorite. I love how it turned out. So I hope this video was helpful to you guys. Let me know if you try this, or if you have tried it and you have a different technique, a different way that you do it. Let me know down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!